Howdy, y'all. Welcome to another episode of the Rainbow Crossing Podcast, a very special episode, one might add. I am Julio Guzman, and with me is Daniel Harvell, and we are celebrating our 50th episode.
And not only is our 50th episode, it also coincides with our 1 year anniversary.
Ooh.
It's crazy to think how different things are now versus a year ago. I mean, just your hair, for example.
Yeah.
It was so short a year ago.
Damn, that is a good way to progress my hair growth, because my hair was pretty short. Honestly, 50 episodes within a year honestly makes me want to just... That's where I'm at.
Wow.
I'm joking, y'all. This is just me really tired. I'm honestly very grateful for this podcast, and I enjoy doing it so much. I'm just very... exhausted.
Well, it is a lot of work.
This plus like my normal day-to-day things has just added up to me. So I apologize for my what's the energy I'm bringing today?
Negative
energy.
Just
negative
pure
energy. Hey, we have our days. We have our days, and I've had 1 day off. Basically, I'll say this every single week because it hasn't changed. I've had 1 day off every single week.
But you never asked me how many days I have off, and there are zero. 0 days off. You want to question it?
I'm not going to question it because I don't want to argue with you on our anniversary. That's such like white behavior over there. You're over here trying to fight with someone on a special day, like if I didn't instigate it to begin with.
Right,
like if I haven't been the one with the negative attitude so far. Okay. I'll admit. I'm observing. I'm acknowledging my behavior.
Thank you. That also shows a progress, because I'm not sure a year ago you would have done that.
I'm being nice because it's the 1 year anniversary.
Yeah, thank you. It's a special day for us.
It is.
It's also funny to look back at like our lighting and like the editing that I would do. Like, it's so much better now than it was a year ago. So I'm really impressed with us, how we really have stepped up our game here.
I'm really impressed with you. I'll say that much, because I'm kind of just a viewer. And by viewer, I mean like a scroller. Like, I will record this, but I don't like listening to myself so much. So I kind of just watch the video if it pops up on my feed, but I kind of just try not to. I say what I say, and I hope to remember what I say. And then if I don't, the world will remind me.
Oh, they will. They have over the last year. Yeah, I don't like listening to myself either, but working on the podcast has definitely trained me to where it doesn't bother me anymore. Yeah. So for perhaps the next 50 episodes, we'll turn the editing over to you and let you have it.
Well, one of us lives behind a computer, so it's probably best if you stick to that. Because if that were me, when would I have time to do the rest of my other activities?
Welcome to my world.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I just won't make any money at all. Just work on the podcast and edit. Maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe I just need to quit everything and just fully dive into this and see what happens.
I love it. I love it for us.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do love it.
Well, today let's talk about like some of our greatest hits over the last year, the last 50 episodes, because we've had a lot of interesting moments. We've had a lot of guests. I didn't realize how many guests we had until I started like looking back over this.
I realized.
But we've had a lot of amazing guests on the show.
Everyone has been just top tier, great people through and through, in and out. Just awesome people to be around.
Right.
And also hear from, you know?
Everyone has offered a very interesting perspective. We brought people on board who you and I can't completely understand their perspectives because we haven't lived it. So they have lived their unique lives, and we're very thankful for them for sharing that with us. And not only were all of these friends of ours, but it was an amazing opportunity to get to know them even better. We learned things just sitting here doing the podcast with them that I don't think we would ever have known if we were just hanging out with them at a party or the pool or on a vacation. And we have done that with all of these people who have been on the podcast. So it's been a great opportunity for us, and I hope it's been a good opportunity for our audience.
Yes.
And we'll talk about that a little bit more, but I'm pretty sure that we've reached at least a couple of people along the way.
Oh, yeah. That is a for sure. I mean, there's people that I didn't expect to be listening to my podcast, and then they'll mention it to me in person, and I'm like, oh, so y'all are actually listening.
Oh, I better step it up.
Maybe I should be watching what I'm saying instead of just speaking.
Finally. Let's go through a few accolades, a few highlights of the last year.
Okay, well, why don't you kick us off?
Let's start off with maybe perhaps our most viral moment.
Okay.
Which maybe isn't the highlight that we would like it to be, but unfortunately our most viral moment, for better or for worse.
Like video-wise?
Right.
Like observing content-wise how many people viewed?
Yeah, views, engagement, etc.
Gotcha.
Was our clip where we talked about Austin Wolf and his child, we'll say corn, for the video, because we will get flagged if we say the real word. If you've watched that clip, you know that I have a history with Austin Wolf. I have known him since before he started in the adult industry. And he and I were in the same circles in that world, but we did not work directly together after he entered that adult space. I shared my insight back June, July of last year, after he was arrested for possessing child corn. And it was our most viewed, most engaged post on TikTok, which is wild. Mm-hmm. And there is an update, actually, as I was looking through all of this today. So we're filming this about a week before this will actually air. So Friday, June the 20th, he is expected to enter a plea of guilty for at least one charge. And we don't know if there's going to be more. We don't know how long his sentence will be. There is a theory that he made some kind of deal. And so we'll see if that reduces his sentence at all, or his sentences at all. He's been held without bond for a year now. It was June of last year. So it was an interesting moment to kind of kick off the podcast, but it got us a lot of views, like right out of the gate, for better or for worse.
Do you think he's a bottom in prison now?
He's such a big guy.
But like, is a queen compared to people in jail
Who aren't going to play.
at all, especially if they find out what you did.
Yeah. Oh, I imagine that's probably the worst of worst offenses. Probably worse than being a murderer.
Well, one can only imagine what's happening to him.
Why don't we talk about one of our funniest moments? Like, what do you feel like was one of our funniest?
One of our funniest moments. I guess I have a lot of fun when you're just like not saying anything.
Wow. So
To me, I find that really joyful. It just brings so much like peace and serenity into my life that I just like can't think of any other emotion to feel besides just fun, you know?
I'm just going to stay quiet so you can have your fun.
I'm joking. No, the funnest moment was probably definitely when we dressed up for Halloween.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like that was a good time, and I have also never looked that ridiculous. As
I did
you
too.
yourself,
I did too.
have never looked that ridiculous on camera. Well, you've had your fair share of ridiculous moments on camera. Let me rephrase all that. Yeah, you've had your moments. I have not looked that ridiculous on camera before. Dressed in a bob, a crop top, and these shorts actually.
Are those the Dora shorts?
Yes, these shorts.
I have to say, when you rounded the corner and came in here as Dora the Explorer for our Halloween episode, I just died. Like, in the best possible way. It was amazing.
I bet. And you're so Miss Frizzle coded, for sure.
Thank you.
Not that you've seen the show, because it's definitely past your time. But
I'm familiar.
You're definitely Miss Frizzle.
I'm familiar with her and her game, obviously.
And now she has like a lot of charm, but also very smart, and will also kind of just like be funny and witty when delivering anything.
Perfect match. You're right.
Right?
You're right.
That's when you say, "Oh my God, that was so nice."
Yeah. I'm waiting for the other shoe
that
to
was
drop
it.
there. Okay.
That was it, yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
I was describing why I picked Miss Frizzle for you.
Oh my gosh. How about our biggest like wait what? Like big revelation moment? For me, it was when we had guest Cody Saya on the show. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about how he contributed literally to his good friends starting their family. And he was a sperm donor. And he told us about how he was mailing sperm across the country because he was in New York, they were in California, and just the idea of donating sperm to start a family is just an amazing, generous, selfless act. And I just wouldn't have expected it. I don't know, like from anybody. Like it's just this rare thing to be able to give literally of yourself to someone else.
To be a dad,
Yeah.
that's the dream. So yeah, very much. Wait, what? Especially since he is pretty young.
He is.
And like super attractive, and you
Yeah.
just and very involved in the gay world. It's nice to see people still having families in their unique own way.
Yeah. How about for you? What's been like a most touching or emotional moment throughout the show?
I think the most touching moment that we've had on this podcast that's kind of relatable to a lot of gay and queer people is that moment where we had our friend Nate on the podcast and we just had a deep conversation about just our connection with family and religion and what it was like navigating through basically our queerness, and how he was talking about how he was very close with his family and really loved his nieces and nephews, and it got to a point where his brother was very uncomfortable with his position with his niece or his close proximity to the family. He didn't want his queerness to be as open in front of his niece and nephew.
Yeah. It was a tough start to the conversation. Fortunately, there was a nice resolution.
But it took time.
But it did take time and years. And he was asked by his brother to no longer come around anymore. And I remember, and it was just so crazy to me because the brother said that his niece and nephew, they love you so much that he's such a good positive influence that he's concerned for them, which is wild to put those two thoughts together. But he was so concerned because Nate was such a positive influence that he thought that if his kids would entertain the idea of being gay, that Uncle Nate would open the door for them essentially and allow them to feel like it's okay, which it is okay. But he was just so religious focused and being gay is a sin and wrong that he was trying to protect his kids. I get it, but it's such a backwards concept.
For sure. If anything, it should have been a moment of like seeing how connected the kids are with your brother and then being like, okay, this is the new world that we're living in, the more accepting world that we're living in, and why not have someone as good as his brother to navigate them through any questions that they might have over any scenario, because they're going to meet all kinds of different people throughout their life.
Yeah. And let me tell you, if you're gay, like not having a gay influence in your life isn't going to stop you from being gay. I never understand the concept of the we're converting kids to being gay. We're not interested in converting kids. We're interested in giving them support and love if they do come out as gay, because a lot of us did not have that as kids. That's the only thing we're interested in, because inevitably children are going to be gay or bisexual or trans, and they need a support system in place. And unfortunately, their parents aren't always that for them. The good thing is that Nate's brother has come around in recent years, and admitted he was wrong, welcomed Nate back into the fold. And so there's been a reunion of sorts since then. So our most like awkward, chaotic moment is one that our audience did not see, in my opinion. You may have another thought on this, but our very first episode, which speaks to how far we've come, but our very first episode, I don't know if you remember this, you probably tried to block it out of your head because you were so upset about it, is we half recorded an episode, and then realized after the fact that we didn't get the audio and that the video ran too long. And so we had to scrap the very first episode that we ever recorded, and we had to do it again.
And I feel like it went pretty smooth too, which was so annoying because I was like, okay, that wasn't bad for our first one. And then we realized it was not recording.
It did go bad.
And I was like, wow, I have to sit here with him
and talk to this man again.
Hour. This must be hell. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. If this is hell, it's not that bad because it's with you.
Thank you.
That's
That's
going to be
correct.
us sitting in hell.
Yeah. Doing the podcast every week. Nonstop, though, for you.
For 50 weeks. Not you
Right.
know, we get 2 weeks off at least.
Yeah. Christmas and Thanksgiving. Yeah. So give me what you think, based on our audience reaction, our most controversial segment or clip has been.
So I want to say it's probably that one clip we posted of Scott Neal, who is one of the partial owners of some of the gay venues down on 4th Street.
Right.
And he was just basically calling out white men for being transphobic and basically entitled white men, because not all white men. I mean, it's most.
And especially entitled white gay men.
Yes, there we go.
Yeah.
Who don't really stick up for anybody else that doesn't look like them still. It's very much still discrimination in the community, within the community. And he was basically just calling them out. And for a white man to say that is very amazing, but also a lot of his people were getting upset. But
Yes.
if you're getting upset, there must be some truth to it.
Yeah.
If it's hurting you a little bit, why are you so bothered?
Yeah.
Or else you could just be like, I totally agree. Or if you're saying that's not true, well, then how many trans friends do you have? Name them quickly.
Well, most of them were saying, I don't want trans people in my life. There aren't so many. There are a lot of very vocal, angry, gay white men who are privileged enough to live in society at a certain level that they were assisted to getting to that point by drag queens, by trans people, by people of color who were leading the way. And yes, white people were involved, but it was definitely a team effort. It took a village. It took a village people to get us going to where we are today. And we're still at risk of losing these rights. But trans people do not have all of the same rights that we have. And some of those rights are being rolled back as we speak through legislation. And
the source of that, though, comes from femininity. And that's where I feel like the gay white male sometimes has a problem with.
yeah. Because men in general oftentimes have problems with.
So I think that's where the source probably comes from.
Yeah.
Do you feel like we had an episode where you felt like it was the most unfiltered, real talk, just most relatable episode that people could probably relate to?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just thinking in terms of like the responses that we got afterwards. So one of our early episodes, we did a red flag, green flag episode. And I mentioned one of my red flags was when people don't return their grocery carts to the bins or into the store, wherever the proper place is for you to store them. And that got so many responses. And they were wild. Like, some people were like, yes, that's absolutely true. I don't want to date someone who doesn't return their grocery cart because it shows that they just don't think about other people, that they're being selfish. And then on the other side of it, we had people who were like, well, I'm an elderly woman, or I'm a mother of 6, or I'm this or this is. And there were a lot of people who felt very attacked in that moment because clearly they do not return their grocery carts. And so it was a lot of, and at first I was commenting on a couple of them, but then I quickly realized that our other listeners were going to do the fighting for me. So I just stepped back and let them go at it. And people were at times a little mean about it, but it was, I hope, eye-opening to some people in that your actions have an effect on other people. And, you know, you can make all the excuses that you want in the world, but that may be indicative of how you treat other people, how you go about your daily life. It's just the same thing as like, do you just throw your trash on the ground when you finish a candy bar or something? Like, a lot of people will say, well, that's providing work for somebody. What are you talking about?
For what? If I heard someone say that, I'd be like, pick that shit up. What are you even talking about? That's work for somebody.
Yeah.
No, pick it up. That's your trash to throw away. Like, it makes no sense. But I draw the line with the cart. For you, that's crazy.
Right.
That's crazy. Justice for the elderly women who can't take the carts back to where they go, or a mother of 6.
Well, what was so funny about that is that there were a couple of elderly, at least presenting ladies, who were saying, "Well, I can't do that. Why is he attacking me?" And the whole setup for the conversation, which was part of the clip, is that if you're going on a date with someone and you stop by the grocery store to pick up whatever supplies for your picnic or whatever you're doing at the grocery store, and the person doesn't put the cart back. So 1, I'm not going on dates with elderly people. 2, I'm not going on dates with women. So like, you can consider yourself safe. You don't have to worry about how I might see you, elderly woman, putting your cart away or not.
And it's different because, like, he's literally talking about seeing someone physically avoid putting their cart away. Yeah. He's not getting mad about the carts that are just there. He doesn't know the backstory of those carts. He's just, if he sees someone half-ass putting the cart where it needs to go, it's like, you could have just put it away where it goes.
Right. And I'm not judging someone who's struggling just to make it from...
No, but you are. I've seen you do it. We've been at the grocery store together, and you'd be like, look at that person. They can't even walk to put their cart away.
We're still filming.
Oh.
Yeah. Shh.
Got it. Don't tell your dirty, darkest secrets online.
Thank you.
I know I just asked you this one, but I kind of want to know what if you had any times on this podcast where either we were talking or a guest was talking where it's just something clicked where you just had a change of perspective in regards to whatever.
Yeah.
Culture, whatever it is.
The whole point of our podcast is to present different perspectives. You being Gen Z, me being Gen X. And along the way, we've had a lot of guests who aren't typically, I don't think we've had any other Gen X or Gen Zers on the podcast, but we've had a lot of millennials, and we had one baby boomer, our good friend Rich, who has been friends with us for years. He is a meteorologist here in town, and he experienced a lot of things that you and I will never, fortunately, have to go through. And
don't hold your breath, because the way time is reversing right now.
We'll see.
But keep going.
Sorry. See. Fingers crossed we won't have to go through some of the things that he went through. My generation just didn't have a lot of people to look up to because we lost so many of them to the AIDS epidemic. But we're very fortunate that we have Rich with us, and he shared a lot of great stories about his past, particularly as a young gay man. And he told us a story about the young man that he had dated in college and out of college, and their relationship. And it was a beautiful relationship for him, but it was something that had to be very private. It was something that had to be private when they were in school, and then also him as a professional. And, he shared a story with us that I won't really go into, that didn't make the final cut. But it was because of him being gay that got him fired from one of his early jobs. So it's very clear that we have made progress. I know we are slipping backwards on a lot of things right now with the current administration. Yeah. But I do not feel, and I don't think any one of your generation feels, that they have to stay in the closet for a relationship. I know we feel... Sometimes we want to stay in the closet because of family pressures, because we're not in a position to support ourselves if our family disowns us for being gay. And we do have to be smart about our surroundings and everything. But we are free to be married now. So we are free to hold those hands in public. Now, people may react to that, but it's not the same space that it was before, where being gay, acts of gay were illegal. But just hearing his story really touched me, and it really just showed me how much I have to be grateful for. His generation did a lot of work for us. They paved the way for us.
Oh yeah, 1,000%.
When we have guests, sometimes we go down paths that we're not necessarily expecting, and we get heavier than I think either of us thought we would get. Do you have one of those moments where it was just unexpected depth to a conversation?
Yes. One of my favorite conversations, because I feel like I had quite a few similarities with this friend of ours, Angel Rivera, when we had him as a guest. We talked about his addiction problems, and it just really put into my perspective that like our community has a lot of struggles that we deal to substance abuse, and then sometimes we lead to substance abuse because of our problems. So there's just this huge thing that I felt like I could relate to him, because I've seen a lot of this happen and unfold within our community and within people around me. I really appreciated that conversation. It was a deep conversation that I didn't expect to hear from him, because you only see, well, if you see Angel Rivera, you know, I mean, if I'm not
You see more than one side,
I'm not
but
saying I'd be watching, but if you've seen his work,
yes,
you don't really get to see the depth that the person has inside. And it was really nice to hear his struggles, and whether it was with his family or with his substance abuse, and how far he's come from those places.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. It's easy to forget when someone is on our screen in whatever capacity.
Your screen. Not mine.
In whatever capacity they are on our screen, that they have real problems too. Like we all have real problems. And in the gay world, we have those problems kind of piled on us, no matter how we act or react to the situation. And as you said, like substances like drugs and alcohol, like they can be the start of the problem or they can be the result of a problem. So it's a double-edged sword. Neither side is good with that situation. So it is amazing when you see someone who has struggled to pull themselves up, and he did it with help. And I think that's one of the great things about what we're doing here is like we may not be in person for everyone, but if we can help people understand we've gone through this, or we have guests who've gone through this, and there are resources out there to help. So yeah, that was a great one.
I do have a question for you. Do you know what our biggest like listener response was? Like if we have a specific episode where like listeners were just really engaged to the conversation or really related to it, that you noticed?
One of our earliest episodes, we talked about age gaps in relationships. And you and I both have experienced that to varying degrees. And I was a little concerned about how people would respond to that. And that is the most commented YouTube video that we have out there. And it surprised me. I don't think there was a single negative comment out there, but there were a lot of people that were saying, I'm a 30-year-old and I have a 50-year-old partner, or whatever the age gap is. There were a lot of people saying their ages and their partner's ages and how happy they were together and how it didn't matter to them the ages. They just connected in a way that transcended age gaps. So it was really nice to hear from all of these people who are experiencing this exact situation and have blossomed through it. Do you have a "this is why we do it" moment? Like we talk about why we do it all the time, but sometimes we don't see or hear the results of it.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be honest with you, which you probably already get hints. I don't really enjoy putting myself out there in a conversation setting all the time. Like I need to have the energy to communicate because I'm very content in silence. So sometimes I have to like find the energy to do this podcast, but I do this because I want to help people feel better and maybe find the resources they need to improve their well-being. I mean, I'm a fitness coach. I love making people feel confident in themselves and be better whether it's their lifestyle or just their mindset. Like, I just want that for people because I want to build a community where everyone is fully confident in themselves and passionate about life, you know?
Yeah.
And that is my drive. And sometimes I think I'm like, oh my gosh, I really got to record another episode. But there's been multiple people that I'll see randomly and they'll start talking to me about it. And I'm like, oh, what? You're actually like listening. That's amazing. I didn't expect to hear that. And people do come up to me constantly talking about how they like what I'm saying, and they're really thankful that there's like these resources out there, and how I've also helped like make people feel a little bit confident in themselves and how they approach their day-to-day life. And most recently, actually, I had a friend last week. They came up to visit for our friend's birthday party, and he like pulled me to the side and was like talking to me. He's like, hey, how are you doing? I was like, I'm doing well. And he was like, I just wanted to tell you thank you. And I'm like, for what? Like, what are you even talking about? What did I do? And he's like, well, no, like, I wanted to tell you that, like, thank you, because I listened to your podcast, and your podcast, one of the clips that you posted helped me and a friend of mine get like closure and feel like content and happy with one another, because they were describing their relationship like they're family members, basically, is what it feels like. They're friends, but they feel like family members, and they've had this disconnect politically in regards to one of their friends and their approaches and views. But their friend expresses to them, I love you. That's not going to change. But there was still some resentment. It was as in like, why did you vote for someone who you really don't like appreciate? Like, you like me, we're friends. Why? And you mean so much to me. Why is this happening? And one of our conversations that we had, I can't remember which one, but he just told me that he sent him a video because he felt like he related to it. And that friend reached out to them and was telling them that they're sorry, and now that they see a little bit more clear that like they should be standing up for them and feeling love for them, because that's what they do and that's how they feel. And it just makes me feel a lot happier that, as much as I want to tell people how to fix things, sometimes I might not know how to do that, but I'm going to speak from my experience. And it's nice to know that me speaking from my experience has helped people actually get those motions running, basically.
Wow. That's amazing. I also have had people come up to me and give us kudos for the podcast and everything. But that's an example of a real world example of like somebody's mind changing as a result of the podcast. And you know, oftentimes, I know I feel this way. If I have a disagreement with someone, or I'm in a situation where I'm at odds, like sometimes I just don't know how to tell them how I feel. So to have like a clip of you speaking and to kind of encapsulate all of their feelings into whatever the topic was at the time, and to take that clip and to be able to send it over and say, this is how I'm feeling. Like, you know, your vote for Trump is doing the exact opposite of what you say you do, and that is support me and support my community. So it's amazing that you actually have experienced that with a close friend, and I'm hopeful that that sort of situation has happened more than just the one time, and that we're making a positive impact on people. It is hard to change people's minds.
Oh, for sure.
Especially about politics.
Yes.
So if we have even changed one person's mind over the course of the 50 episodes that we've done,
it's worth it to me.
I totally agree. Totally worth it.
And this has all been worth it to me. Like, I don't like to be too much into the comments because I refuse to let anybody bother me.
Some of them would bother you a lot.
And I am one to clap back. That's the thing.
Exactly.
If you tell me these things, I will start talking about it on this podcast and making them feel as they're putting out.
Yeah.
And trust me, I can take it. I don't know if they'll be able to take it, because when I sting, I sting.
Well,
but who is listening and supporting us and loves to hear what we have to say, we appreciate you, and we love you. We truly do.
Absolutely.
As much as I play around of being annoyed, I really do love sharing this experience with life itself.
Absolutely. Yeah. And whether you've tuned into all 50 episodes
or just one,
like, we appreciate you as well. And hopefully you're getting something out of this and can appreciate what this is bringing to the table. And we talk about all the time about using your voice, and that's what we're doing here, using our voices. And if you can't use your voice, or you don't know how to use your voice, use our podcast. Like if you have an episode or a clip that you think speaks for what you're going through and you need people to understand what you're going through, share it. Or let us know if you've got something else that you're going through that we need to be talking about on here.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Well, this was a good season 2, and I'm ready for this long break ahead of us.
Yes.
By that, I mean at least like 3-4 weeks is what it's giving.
So this will be the last episode for a few weeks.
Season 2.
At least probably a month. We'll be back for season 3, and
I'll be more rested. I'll have more energy. I promise.
I
this
sure
will
hope
be
so.
good. You're going to see like season 1 chipper, like full of energy, ready to go. Julio at the beginning of season 3. Maybe not towards the end, but definitely at the beginning. You'll get some energy for sure.
Oh, well, thank you for joining us for our 1-year anniversary.
Yes.
Give us a like, a comment, subscribe, and we'll see you soon.
Miss y'all. Bye.